For being here. I am Andrew Connor. I am a board member with the Terre Foods Cooperative Market, the organization that we're working to bring a local food co-op here to Terre Haute. I want to thank our hosts tonight, Clabber Girl, Mr. Gary Morris, president of Clabber Girl, and Teresa Schaefer. They've been wonderful hosts. Chris Weber also jumped in to help us get more chairs. It's a great facility, a wonderful meeting room, and we're so glad to have it full tonight. Thank you very much, Gary. We have lots of leaders from Terre Foods who are here tonight. Robin Morton, our president. I want to thank Holly Hudson for helping to organize this. Lots of people on the steering committee, on the board of directors who have been working together cooperatively to make this night a reality. I want to thank them all. But let's get on to our discussion. Before we talk to and introduce our panelists, I want to survey the crowd just a little bit. How many of you shop at a farmer's market? Very good. How many of you shop at Baesler's here in Terre Haute? How many of you shop at a cooperative market? Okay. We hope to make that. How many shop at a cooperative market, a co-op? We hope to increase that a lot. How many of you are growers or farmers? Quite a lot. And how many of you are associated with Rose-Hulman and are here to get the Healthy Initiative, Healthy Living Initiative? That's great too. We're glad to have everybody here. There's lots of reasons for people to be passionate about local foods, whether it's from a nutrition standpoint, whether it's from wanting fresh, delicious foods, whether it's to sustain the local economy. There are many good reasons to be involved with the local food movement. We're going to turn to our panelists now. I'm going to introduce each of them just very briefly, ask them to tell you a little bit about themselves, and then I have an opening question for each of them. We're going to start with George Hunnington, the general manager from Blooming Foods, the co-op grocery store down in Bloomington, Indiana. George, please tell us a little bit about yourself and the co-op that you represent. And then my first question for you is, why has the local food movement become so popular, and do you think it will last?
All right, thank you, Andrew. And before I speak a little bit about myself, I would like to echo Andrew's amazement at the turnout tonight. This is really incredible. I think it's a testament to the fact that there's a strong local food movement in Terre Haute. So thank you all for coming tonight. I hope that we can make remarks that somehow empower you to strengthen that local food network over here in Vigo County. I was born and raised in Bloomington, Indiana. I went to school at Indiana University and have a degree in history, of all things. I've never taken a business class in my life. I have a passion for food. And I've worked with Blooming Foods now for almost 18 years. It's a job that I truly enjoy and feel blessed to have. I get to do good work and give back to my community. It's a pretty good gig. It really is. And then you had a question for me, Andrew, about the local food movement, and do I think it will last? Why is it popular?
Why is it so popular?
Well, you hit on a couple of them in your comments. Local food, I think, means fresher food. Superior nutrition is often a result of that. I think local food is a more environmentally appropriate way for people to eat. It seems awfully silly to truck food from, or produce from California, in our case to Bloomington, Indiana, in July or August during the growing season when we can grow it in our backyard. I think that local food helps strengthen local economies. That money stays in the community along with the food. It nourishes the people that live there. As far as whether or not it will last, I think there's no question about that. I think what we're doing actually is returning to the way things used to operate in this country. We've established a global food system that on many levels is broken. You read about food recalls almost weekly, it seems like. I think what we're doing is returning to a local food network, and I think the first step will be to recreate the regional food network that used to exist in this country. A real hub of that used to be right here in Terre Haute, Indiana, with Home and Co. So I think it'll last, and I think the fact that there's, by my count, 125 people in this room when we thought there might be 40 is a testament to the fact that it's going to last. So again, thank you all for coming.
I should mention that in addition to being involved with Terre Foods, I've been involved with the downtown farmers market for many years. And recently I've started doing something new at the farmers market. I've been selling my own ice cream. Forbidden Flavors is my exotic, unusual ice cream. And I'm very proud to say that it is available at Blooming Foods. It's available at Baesler's Market. It's available every Saturday during the summer at the farmers market in the parking lot of Clabber Girl, right outside. And sometimes we feature Rex coffee flavored ice cream. So I feel a real connection and affinity for all of our panelists, and appreciate the relationships that we have. Our next panelist is Bob Baesler. Bob is the owner of what is, without a doubt, the nicest, best, most interesting, cleanest, just the best grocery store in Terre Haute. Baeslers and Bob and his family are beloved in the community for their generosity, but for also just giving us a great place to shop. I'm always impressed by the friendliness of your staff, but I also have a little game that I play. When I check out, I like to look at the request board, the pink and green note cards there by the checkout, and I'm always just amazed at the requests that people have. Just the most detailed, particular products, and then I'm amazed also at the responsiveness of you and your staff by bringing those products, those very particular products that people want. Maybe it's seedless, maybe it's fat-free, maybe it's low sodium, maybe it's the 10th variety of a product that's just a little bit different than what's already on the shelf. But somehow you find a way to fulfill those requests. My question for you, after you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your store and your life in the grocery business, what expectations and desires do customers have for local foods? And do you think that those desires or expectations are realistic, and are they being met?
Thank you, Andrew. My name is Bob Baesler, as Andrew said. I've always lived in Terre Haute. I've been in the grocery business part-time for 50 years and full-time for 40. I graduated from Indiana State. Actually, I did start when I was 11. We were on, and actually in the Tribune Star last Sunday, they sort of give it up to the date as far as the history of Baesler's. It started in 1894 at 13th and Wabash as a meat market, and so it was not necessarily a business that I wanted to be in as I was growing up. And actually, Terre Haute was not necessarily the place I wanted to live. But there's a book I read in college, Acres of Diamonds, and I won't go into all the details, but after I read that, I thought, you know, Terre Haute makes a lot of sense, and the grocery business makes a lot of sense. And actually, I have absolutely no regrets because, as George said, it is a great business. I actually came this evening to learn. You know, I'm by no means an expert on this local food. I came to learn from George. Of course, an expert is somebody that's at least 50 miles from home and has a briefcase. And George doesn't have a briefcase.
Charge money too, Bob.
Yeah. So the local foods, trying to figure out what local foods is, I mean, it means different things to different companies. We've sort of taken the approach of Hoosier Homegrown. That logo is copyrighted, so don't tell anybody we're using that. But and so we have tried to utilize the fact that anything that has grown is grown or manufactured in Indiana, that's a local food. Some companies say 250 miles, Dorothy Lane in Dayton. The USDA actually came out in 2008, as you probably know, 2009 with their Food Act, and they said that local food was anything that was within 400-mile radius of that location or the state. When you get to Texas and it's 800 miles wide and 700 miles long, I mean, so it can still be local and still be in the state. So anyway, the question was, what expectations or desires do customers have? I'm sorry, customers?
Regarding local foods.
Okay. The expectations for us, I don't believe are as great as what they are for George, because we're a conventional store, and although we are trying, and customers seem to appreciate us trying as hard as we can to have local foods. We helped sponsor the farmers market 2 years ago when Andrew asked, and part of the motivation for that was that we would, maybe the people that came to the farmers market on Saturday, the farmers or the growers would feel comfortable in coming to the store afterwards, or throughout the week, that maybe if they had more product and they wanted to sell it more than just the 4 hours on Saturday. We really didn't get too much out of that, other than the lady from Paris and the eggs, and we did start picking up eggs from her and continued to carry those. So I think the expectations have been pretty low for us because we are a conventional store. I think if we were a co-op, it'd be much greater. I think so. As far as if their expectations are realistic, I think when we have items, and when we have Dr. Connor's basil, I mean, it's beautiful, and I mean. And people love it when we have it. Sometimes we don't know when we're going to get it, and it doesn't last very long. So, and I think when we do pick up local items, and the honey that we have from the Riley folks, and the different items that we do carry, people are very appreciative of those items, and so I think the expectations, the fact that they're low, is sort of getting us, to some degree off the hook. But